This is CADD 212, September 9th class, part 2. We're going to move on to hiding objects. So as you've probably noticed, when we get to a certain point in our drawing, we get a lot of stuff that gets in the way of what we need to get to as far as like different sections of our model. But there's different ways that we can hide objects in order to do that. And what I mean by that is if in this house, so I've had an internal wall and I needed to draw on this internal wall. Well, there's no way for me to really kind of get to it. I can't see it. I can turn a building upside down, but if I have a slab on, I wouldn't be able to see it either. So I need to be able to get to that wall. So I need to hide things. And you've seen me do this a couple of times, but it's good to know how to do it yourselves. So the first and easiest way is called temporary hide isolate. And we start that if you come down here in these little glasses, if you click on those, it says temporary hide isolate. And then it gives you the different ways that we can do that. So if I wanted to hide this front wall, I can click on that wall, make it active, come over to my little glasses, my temporary hide isolate, click on those, and notice I can either hide the element or hide the category. So if I do hide element, it just hides that one piece right there. And that way I can see that wall that's inside of there now if I wanted to manipulate that wall. I know it's the temporary hide isolate is on because of this cyan colored border, and also it says it right here. What's nice about this is if I saved my work progress, closed out of this, when I reopened it, everything would be back to where it is. So if I want to turn this back on, I can go ahead and click the glasses and said reset temporary hide isolate. If I just wanted to use this wall right here, if I click on that wall and go back to my glasses, if I wanted to isolate that element, I could just click on that and everything disappears besides that wall. So now I can manipulate that. I don't use that one too much because I like to have the context of the rest of the building there while I'm doing it. If I want to put it back, reset, everything comes back. If I wanted to hide all of my walls at the same time, I can click on a wall, go to temporary hide isolate, and hit hide category. And it hides all the walls at the same time. Sometimes that's necessary. This depends on the work that you're doing. But the important thing to remember is this is temporary, and it's just kind of the easiest way to do it. I use this one the most. But there's different ways that we can hide stuff as well in order to work on our drawing. So we did temporary hide isolate, and there's two I would call semi-permanent. One that will use a lot is called visibility graphics. And I like that one because you're going to use that especially when we start putting things on sheets and things like that. But let's do hide and view first, because a lot of times people get lost and confused when they use this one called hide and view. So a lot of times people are used to just right-clicking when you're doing stuff. So if I'm going to hide this roof and I don't use my temporary hide isolate, a lot of times people just like right-click and they'll say, oh, here I can hide and view. And I like, you can hide either the element or the category, same thing as before, especially like with this wall. If I wanted to do the wall and I put hide and view and I did category, it's going to hide all the walls at the same time. I'm just going to undo that. If I clicked on this wall, hide and view, just the element, it'll just do that one at the same time. But notice there is no cyan border around here. There's nothing telling me that's anything hidden. So if I jump around and start working on different things in my project and stuff, I'm like, oh, well, my wall is right here. Why is it not here when I go to 3D? That's because it's only hidden in the one view that you're in. It'll only hide it in the view that you're working in. A lot of time, most of the time, you're able to populate your drawing throughout all the different views as you're creating something. But some things are view specific, and when it comes to hiding things, that is view specific. So like if I hid this wall, so I've got this one in temporary, this one in hide in view. I'm going to do temporary hide, isolate here. I'm going to go back to my level 1. So both of those walls are still visible in level 1, but in 3D, they're hidden. So if I came back to this view, I'd be like, oh, okay, I've got some walls hidden. I've got walls hidden here. So I just go down here and reset. Well, it only reset one. Why is it not resetting the other one? That's because I hid it a different way. So how do I get that back? I come down to my bar right here, and this little light bulb is reveal hidden elements. So I click on reveal hidden elements. Oh, there's my wall. And if I unclick, it's still not there. So what do I have to do? I'll go back to reveal hidden elements, click on the item that is hidden, make it active, right click, and put unhide in view. And then you can turn this off, and then your wall will be back. So there's a few different steps for that one. That's why I think it's best and easiest to use temporary hide isolate, because when you do hide and view, it's just, you got a few extra steps. A lot of times people forget how to get it back. But just let's do the roof one more time so you can see how that works. So I want to take this roof off so I can look inside here. I'm just going to click on it, make it active. I'm going to right click. Hide in view. Yeah, I'm just going to hide that. Okay, so it's gone. I do the work I need to do on the inside of here. And then if I want to bring that roof back, I come down to reveal hidden elements. There's the roof. I highlight it. Whoops, that's a wall. There's the roof. Highlight it, make it active. Right click, unhide in view element. Turn this off, and then my roof is back in place. Everybody good with that? It's always good to kind of just practice these as you're working on your model, so you know the difference between them, because there's always going to be somebody that even in their exam, they're going to hide something and they're not going to know how to get it back. So we want to try and eliminate that. So just kind of practice that so you know how to do the difference between the two of those. So, and then finally, the other way that we can hide stuff, and we will be using this one a lot, is called visibility graphics. And there are two shortcuts for visibility graphics. You can type on your keyboard, just type in VV or VG. V is in visibility, G is in graphics. So if I just type VV, I'm going to have this new window that pops up. And this is going to be used especially when we start putting drawings on sheets. And it works the same way as the hide in view, but it does it on a more permanent basis. So if we just kind of scroll through here, you'll see there's different total breakdowns of how the building is put together, how your model is put together. We can also scroll on here. Notice we have all the different construction options. So if we want to go ahead and turn off everything, we don't need all this except for architecture for our class. So now when you scroll through here, you'll see it's just the architectural details that are available. Say if you wanted to hide all your doors at one time, you can turn that off. If you wanted to hide your floors, if I wanted to hide my roofs, my roof this way, scroll down to roof. It can, I can hide the different parts of the roof at different times. Or if I just want to hide the whole roof, I can click on that, hit apply, and notice the entire roof disappeared. The thing with this is it's also semi-permanent. So when if I save my project and I open back up, the roof won't be there when I come back. I'll need to remember to go back into visibility graphics and turn it back on. So we're not going to be using this one too much, but we will be using it once we get to sheets. and it'll start to make a little bit more sense then. And a lot of people like to use this visibility graphics in order to hide stuff when they're working throughout a larger model. It works really well for that. Any questions about that, y'all? All right, we're going to talk about editing a little bit. We did that briefly already, but we'll go into a little bit more as far as walls and floors are concerned. And it also had to do with how we edited our roof. But the important thing to note is whenever you need to change something, you don't need to redraw it all the time. You can just go ahead and edit it. And a lot of that is driven through our properties as well. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of manipulate this a little bit. I'm going to highlight my roof, make it active. I'm going to raise the base offset from 0. So it's technically 0 because it's on level 2. I'm going to raise that 10 feet. So the whole roof and all the connected walls moved. That wall is not connected to my roof. So I want to click on that wall, make it active, and hit attach top to base. And now all my walls are connected to my roof and they'll all move together as one. Well, a lot of times you don't want that to happen. A lot of times you'll do this and then you'll be like, oh, the customer wants something else. So we need to detach this, because if we wanted to, just have this front wall as one different type of material, or have it half and half, like maybe stucco on the bottom, like brick on the bottom and stucco on the top. There's a couple of different ways that we can do that. So if we wanted to draw like another wall on top of this one, I have to make this wall a different height. So I have to detach. So how do I do that? I click on this wall, I make it active, and I just did the opposite. I did detach top to base, and then I click on here, and it's going to revert back to what the constraints were of this wall originally. So it's up to level 1, up to level 2 on this one. If I wanted it unconnected, if I wanted to change this height to like 5 feet now, now I can manipulate the size of that wall. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is editing the walls and then these openings. A lot of times people have either like a large section of the wall that's kind of cut out like an arch or something in their wall, and you don't know how to create that wall, that arch right here. Well, what I would do in order to create an arch in this wall is I'd take this wall and I'd hide. And then I'd edit this wall. So I'm going to just hit edit profile. And at this time, I can create the profile that I want. Notice we have that magenta line that shows you how that wall is created. Well, now I'm going to change that. I'm going to take this top border and I'm going to delete it. And I'm just going to use one of these arch tools. Notice I have these extra bits over here. So I'm going to use my corner tool to trim that off. So I've changed the shape of how that looks. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this green check mark. And now I've created like an arched entryway or arched wall shape. If I wanted it to look like that. So if I wanted to cut like a hole in that, I could go back. Notice it's going to give me the original shape of what that wall looked like in the dotted lines, and then the current shape in the solid lines. So I'm going to click on that again, and I'm going to hit edit profile again. And I can continue to draw how I want it to look. by using my tools here and your measurements. Now the shape isn't really great. It's just the process that I'm showing you right now. And now when I hit my green check mark, you'll notice that I've created an arched wall with an arched opening in it. And that's just by doing edit wall. And it's the same thing that we talked about with the floors earlier. In the first example is how I just created the shape of that floor, and how we kind of change the edit on that floor. If we just want to do a finished floor real quick on here, let's do level 1. Say if I just wanted my, let's do something real quick. Floors, my carpet's still there. Say if I just go ahead and click on here, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, and I hit my green check mark. It's going to ask if you want the, would you like to join the geometry and cut the overlapping volume out of the wall? We want to put no on that. We don't need to do that because it's just going to run to the edge of the wall. Now let me go to 3D. So it's not great. I was like, oh, that's not what I want. I forgot to go around this wall right here. It's not supposed to go through this entire thing. Once again, all we have to do is go in and edit it. So I'm going to go back to level 1, highlight my floor, and hit edit boundary. Now I'm like, oh, I really need to do this properly this time. So let's do this. So I want this to go around the wall, but I want it to go through this threshold. Same thing here. Continue drawing that. All right, so I think I'm done. Let's see what happens. I'll hit the green check mark. Oh, it's giving me an error. So I see what it is. Lines cannot intersect each other. What's going on? It's giving me this orange line right here to show that there's a problem, so I can zoom in on that. Well, this is what I forgot to do. I forgot to trim off this extra bit right here. So I can say, okay, I want to continue. I can use my corner tool, my corner trim tool, which I like a lot, and I can just trim off that bit. Trim it off right here. There it is. So that disappeared. Come down over here. Trim here. Now let's hit my green check mark. And now I've corrected my carpet. So it's just in the side of the room that I want it to be now. If we zoom in on here, we'll notice that it's just above our floor level. So it would be on top of our slab. It's raised 1/4 inch. So this is a nice thing about Revit. You don't have to redraw everything. You can just go back and manipulate the shape and make that look how you want it to. This tool right here to create your walls, to draw them how you want to, is really nice if you've got an odd-shaped wall, or if you want to do a half wall. If your wall is, say, if you've got a partition wall between one room and another, and it's only 4 foot. This is how you can change it by highlighting that wall and changing the height, like we did with this one here. We just changed the height to 5 foot for this front part. Say if I had another wall piece that was going to go on top of this, I can then draw the new wall. Say if this front wall is this was stone and I wanted stucco on top, then I could just draw that new stucco wall on top of here. We'll go into that a little bit more. I just want to give you the basics of how to manipulate some of this stuff and get it to look and manipulate them how you want them to change. So that's going to cover everything for today's class. Next class, we're going to talk about how to, excuse me, how to add soffit fascia and gutters on here, but I want you to work on the current stuff now so you feel comfortable doing this. And then we're going to add some more advanced roof stuff next week. So for this class, what I'm going to do is start a new mod for you to turn in your progress by Saturday for the stuff that we did today and any corrections that you need to make from your previous model. And then that'll count for your assignment for this week. But that's pretty much it for today. So if anybody has any questions, let's ask them now. If you need to work with me more and you have more questions than I would take in class, send me an email and we can set up a time to meet, and I can meet with you one-on-one in order to get all that stuff worked out, that any questions that you have. So for now, any questions on the stuff that we went over today? All right, I'm going to get this video posted this afternoon. So both videos will be posted this afternoon. If you want some more one-on-one time, shoot me an email and we can set that up, and that'll be it. So I'll get everything set up for this afternoon. This mod will be due by Saturday. That way you can have a chance to review it before class on next Monday. And that's pretty much it. So let's see, stop share. All right, so y'all have a great weekend. If you got any questions, shoot me an email, and take care. All right, bye.